In this video, I'm going to explain what I do to my beehives to get them prepared for winter and how I overwinter my hives. Here in the video, I have two beehives that have screened bottom boards, entrance reducers on, two Langstroth deep boxes with 10 frames of brood and honey, and two outer covers with an inner cover underneath those outer covers. There is no insulation, no wrap, and no upper entrance in these hives. This is exactly how these two hives are going to go into the winter and survive all winter long, with the exception of adding an upper feeder rim with an upper entrance and some sugar blocks on the top of these hives. Aside from that, I do not wrap the hives, I do not insulate the hives, I do not pack straw around the hives, I don't create a windbreak for them, I don't do an inner insulation pad, I don't do anything else to these hives. I don't even insert the mite board on the bottom to cover up the screen opening. These hives, for the most part, will go into winter looking exactly like this, minus the upper entrance. So the main thing that I'm doing right now to prepare for winter is I've stopped harvesting honey, so all of the goldenrod honey that these guys bring in is going to be what they have going into winter, plus the honey that they already had stored up and capped over. I also am aggressively doing mite treatments. My normal mite routine is doing oxalic acid vapor treatments on the hives starting early September and going right through October until it gets too cold. These hives, however, are out in the middle of the woods and my extension cord will not reach that far, so I use Apigard trays on these hives. I have a Apigard tray in there right now, and when that one runs empty, I'm going to insert another Apigard tray into each of these hives. I will use 2 trays throughout the fall season and treat twice on each hive. And that's it. I don't do anything else. Come winter, once it's cold enough, I will take off these entrance reducers to help increase the flow and ventilation. And at that point, I feel comfortable removing them because most mice would already have found their home for the winter. And unless something happens and it damages their home and they're out looking for a new one, they're not going to be moving in and building a nest midwinter. So I will leave the entrance reducers on until probably mid-late December, early January, and then I pop those entrance reducers right off. The other thing that I do in the wintertime is I'll take a stick or a small piece of wood, and if there are dead bees plugging up that entrance, I'm going to scrape those bees out to allow extra airflow to come into that entire entrance. If this is your first year and you notice an abundance of dead bees on the bottom of your hives, don't freak out. It's not abnormal. Bees have a short lifespan. Some bees go into the winter and they just can't manage it through the winter. It's normal to have a pile of dead bees on your entrance. Just scrape them out, and as long as the rest of that hive is thriving and surviving inside, they're going to get that extra airflow that's going to wick away the moisture, and your bees should be just fine as long as you've done a good mite treatment and you have that airflow. My whole thing with winter is getting rid of the moisture in the hives. That's why I keep the screen bottom boards exposed, and that's why I pop off those entrance reducers, because I want the airflow. The bees are going to do the rest of the work. If you have bees out living in a tree in the wild, nobody's plugging up their entrance, nobody's closing anything off. Those bees get the full exposure of the wind and the airflow coming into that hole of the tree, possibly all the way down through the trunk if it's a hollow tree. So, my main thing is airflow and making sure they have plenty of feed. I will sometimes go out in midwinter and crack the hive open on the top, take that inner cover off, and look and see that they still have sugar bricks. If they've used all their sugar brick, I might throw another one on. I definitely do not pull out frames. I don't break the 2 deep boxes open. I only crack the cover, and only once or twice, and very quickly close it back up and let them go through winter exactly how they are.